Cam Whitlow rolling right on a keeper, up across the 15, cuts left at the 20, lots of room at the 30, headed to the near sideline, one man to beat, makes the move at midfield, coming to the near side at the 30, he's at the 20, he's at the 10, 5, touchdown, Kentucky!
Here we are again on a recap episode for something good. Believe in Kentucky. Aaron Gershon from Oxford, Mississippi. Finney Hardy here. Another episode. Kentucky 20, Ole Miss 17, AG. You were in the building for it.
Yeah, unbelievable win for this program. I mean, it's just been, we were just saying before we started, they've packed a whole year worth of drama into 5 games, it feels like. I mean, you go from the agony of getting just whipped by a team in South Carolina that maybe they're better defensively than we thought, but they are who we thought they were offensively. And that game was just unacceptable against a program that you used to beat up on that now has your number for whatever reason. The week after that, you play the then ranked number 1 team that arguably should have won that game. You outgained them. You won the time of possession. You had a controversial call on the pick 6, go the other way. And then 2 weeks later, you're sitting here with their first top 6 win of the Stoops era, their highest ranked win since they beat number 1 LSU in 2007, and I think their highest ranked road win since 1977. So just a insane day for this program, a great day for this program, and they went out and they earned it. There was some adversity that hit very early in this game where you have a call that gets overturned in the other team's favor, right call, but still, you go from the high and the low of that kickoff that was fumbled, and the originally called a fumble, scooped up by Kentucky. It goes back after review, the right call, and then you give up a 6-play touchdown drive in 2 minutes that goes 83 yards. You're like, uh-oh, here we go. Yeah. And Kentucky showed so much resolve, so much guts, and they got it done. And just a huge win for them.
Willie Rodriguez laid the wood on the kickoff. I mean,
yeah, he set the tone. He set the tone that they were coming in and they weren't messing around. Like, yes, that the call didn't go their way. It was the right call. They ended up having that awful defensive possession right after. But that play was like, okay, like here they are. They're not coming here to mess around.
And I think, and we talked about it, and this is, styles make fights, but this for Kentucky to win, they had to have it play out this way.
Exactly.
We talked with Brad Logan on here. Ole Miss is quick strike anyway. They could, have the ball for 10 minutes and still put up, with the way they were scoring, it didn't matter if you could ball control and still be in trouble. But Kentucky, 39 and change, up 2-1 time of possession. Ole Miss had the ball, 20 minutes barely. You got to have a whole, you got to offensively and defensively work together to do that, to keep them sitting over there on the sideline. And they were able to execute that perfectly. It was, the slow down game against a fast breaking team, and the slow down team, they dictated the pace all day long.
They sure did. I mean, they won the time. I think I said they had to win the time of possession battle. I said, ideally by at least 5 minutes. Well, they did it by almost 20. Actually, almost 20. So just a great job executing in that realm. And look, we'll get to the big play. I think we'll give it its own shine in a second here. But Mark Stoops, it was a gutsy game from him and the coaching staff. I mean, they went for it on 3 4th downs, and they got all 3 of them. The one we'll talk about in a second, just probably the gutsiest call he's ever made in his tenure here. And it goes completely against what he did 2 weeks ago. That got him called the most conservative coach of all time. I joked, I don't know if it made the video, but I joked with him when he came up to the podium. I said, they're not calling you conservative anymore. Don't worry. And he's like, maybe I was a dumbass. That was his response. So that was a fun moment there. But they were riverboat ronning this one. They had an early 4th down inside. I think it was 4th and inches inside their own 30. I think on the first drive of the game, they went for it, picked it up with the tush push play or whatever it was. So gutsy decision-making, big plays when they had to make them. And the defense, man, I mean, we'll get into that too. Gut check time is obviously 3rd down. 1 for 10 is what Ole Miss went for on third down. 1 for 10. And this was a defense that last year, third down was the reason they took a step back from what they had been in 22, what they had been in 21, 20, all those years. And 1 for 10 against the number one offense in the country on third. Just remarkable. They were the team that rose to the occasion in the big moments in this game, and that's why they won it. Usually they're just not. Usually they're 1 or 2 plays away, and today they were the team that made those 1 or 2 plays to win.
Jackson Dart was in a lot of progress from year 1 to year 3 for him. How much more comfortable he was there, how much more mature he was. Molly McGrath had a hit from the sideline, and they talked about how Ole Miss had prepped by watching the game from 2 years ago. Jackson Dart was, quote, unrecognizable as far as he is then to now. And he still, I mean, Deion Walker was all over him. They were harassing him all day long. And another Heisman hopeful quarterback was looking real rattled back there.
I mean, Deion Walker was unbelievable in this game. I know the stat sheet only has like a half a sack in TFL, but he was so much more than that. That's why he's going to be a top 15 pick, making boatloads of money. He's another Chris Jones, Dexter Lawrence, dominant D tackle in the NFL is what he's going to be. But he was awesome. Octavius Oxnard had a couple sacks. Khalil Saunders, I thought, made some plays. Trey Ripka made some plays. Like, this D-line kicked Ole Miss's O-line's butt. They really did. And, Ole Miss was missing their starting left tackle. That probably helped, but who cares? You took advantage of it, and you won the line of scrimmage. And on that side of the ball, I mean, the offensive line for Kentucky, there were some pass protection issues. I really thought a lot of the sacks, I'd have to go back and watch all 5, but Brock Vandegrift was holding onto that ball for way too long. I actually think at times the pockets were cleaner than they had been all year, especially on that first drive of the game. I thought he had some really, really clean pockets to work with that kind of helped set the tone for the offense. I know they only ended up with 3 on that drive, but I think there was a lot to like just in the trenches on both sides. But the defensive line absolutely whipped Ole Miss's O-line, and it rattled Dart, like you said. I mean, 18 for 27, 261. That's by far his worst performance of the year, and I still think he made some great plays. Trey Harris certainly made some great plays. That dude is unbelievable, but they were able to overcome those big plays, which, I mean, it's hard to have that goldfish mentality like they always talk and preach, but they did. Especially after, I mean, when they had that first drive, I was like, oh my God, they're going to give up 70 points. I mean, that was the easiest touchdown drive I've watched Kentucky give up in my 6 years on the beat. I know there's definitely been easier ones that happened, in the past, but that it was just too easy for Ole Miss. And I was like, all right, no Max Harrison. Hope he's doing all right, by the way. I didn't realize he was hospitalized till this morning. Not sure exactly what's going on there, but hoping for the best for Max. But you just thought, oh crap! Like they have no chance in this game. They're just, their offense is not built to be in a game like this. And the defense from there on out, I mean, I think they gave up 83 yards on that drive. So from that point, they gave up 10 points and they gave up 271 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unbelievable. This was an offense. And again, I get they haven't played anyone. Actually, Wake Forest, who's probably their best win, lost to Louisiana today. So they really haven't played anyone. But this is an offense that was averaging 670 yards per game, and you held them to 353.
Yeah.
Particularly that first drive, you held them to under 300. Just an unbelievable effort. Unbelievable by this defense. And they won the turnover battle. It was only one turnover, and they didn't score off of it, but it was a huge turnover because Ole Miss was threatening in the red zone. I think at that point it was a tie game. So if they end up with a touchdown there, you lose this game. And J.Q. Hardaway, who, trust me, Trey Harris had his way with him at times, but stepping in for Max Harrison in that moment made a huge play.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that as I watched going forward, because you talk about Ole Miss had their left tackle out. Well, Kentucky was thinner than thin in the secondary. Yeah. And you hear it all the time, next man up mentality, next man up. Yes, but Harrison's out, you get Nichols goes out, and so Lane knows that.
Dislocated shoulder. Is that what I saw?
It's blood in the water all over the secondary, and for them to get through this game with this depleted, this much adversity, it only serves them well going forward, because you had some guys on some islands. and I know they practice putting them in situations like that. Coach
you
Collins,
can't replicate this tempo.
Yeah, it's for them to in real time in a real game, SEC game on the road, top 10 team, video game offense to hold up. I mean, that's just experience. It's just invaluable going forward against these other, your Tennessee and all these other teams you got coming up. You can fall back on. Well, I've been in a game situation where I had to do this. I had to guard Trey Harris as a double move as a true freshman, and I made a play. So that's just invaluable going forward. We talk about the depth guys playing in blowouts and not getting that. Well, we got a lot of
depth guys playing in a big time moment and coming through. Absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I was just reacting. Alabama just took a 14-0 lead on Georgia. So something to watch. I want Georgia to get it going. I want a good game here, but that is something to watch. But I think, with all that said, the play of the game, 4th and 7 at your own 20 with, I think it was 4:03 left. I'm thinking, okay, they're lining up. They're just going to try and draw them off sides. If they get it to 4th and 2, then you have some options there. And when they snap that ball, I'm thinking, oh my God. Like, does Mark Stoops, does he know it's 4th down and not 3rd down? Like, I thought they lost track of downs. And look, Lane Kiffin, losing coach today, didn't coach his best game. No, he had the best quote of the day. Not that Stoops wasn't a good interview after. He said, I have to credit Stoops. That's not anything he's probably done ever in his life. Yeah. He got out of character with 3.5 minutes. I commend him for doing that. I'm sure the ESPN percentage had us winning 98% at that point. Good throw and play by them.
Yeah.
He's right. I mean, my thought was they lost track of downs. They think it's 3rd down. And not only does Brock Vandagriff deliver his best ball so far as a Wildcat, Barryon Brown, who, let's call it how it is, man, his first 4 games for the most part didn't play well. Only had 90 receiving yards going into this game. 2 drives earlier, he killed them with an unsportsmanlike penalty.
What did he do?
I don't think he threw a punch, but he was getting into it with a guy after the whistle.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see it either exactly, but he had been jawing with that DB all game, and the refs have been trying to break it up, so he probably finally crossed the line.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and see what happened too. But still, the point is he killed them on that drive. It sent them back to, I think it was 4th and 20. 3rd and 20, and then they just ran the ball and set up for a punt. Yeah. And for him to show the resolve and come back and make that play in that moment when this season, it just hasn't broken tackles at the clip he has in the past. The kick returns he's had. I mean, today he had a kick return that he fell on his butt. The turf monster got him. Grass field, but whatever, same thing. Just for him to go up and make that play in that moment was unbelievable. And that was such a gutsy call. And to win a game like that, you have to have those type of things happen. You also have to have some luck, like they had on that touchdown with Wimstad coughing up the ball, and Josh Caddis, who dropped 2 passes in this game, didn't drop that one, thank God. So that was a magical moment. I mean, that's a play that you're going to hear that soundtrack, whether it's Tom Leach's call or Sean McDonough's call for years to come, and deservingly so. Just a crazy moment in UK history, and Lane Kiffin's right. I mean, I was so shocked that they actually did that, and credit to him for doing it, that I thought that I literally thought he lost track of downs. I literally thought he was like, oh, it must be 3rd down. Like, there's no way you think and because, I mean, at that point, man, his logic was, hey, we'll hold them to 3. We've been playing really well in the red zone. All the momentum's on Ole Miss's side. I'm not so sure you're actually going to hold them out of that end zone. And you're risking going down double digits and the game being over without you even having a say. And they pulled it off. They pulled it off. And then some 63 yards.
You mentioned that we are going to put a little shine on that, so we'll try to do that right now. You
Yeah.
You probably already heard it because you were right there in the press box, and we got Jim Picoro and Tom Leach. And
yes.
See if we can get that in here. This is
cool.
Brock's Bomb to Burying from, of course, the UK Sports Network. Got to give credit where credit's due, and, of course, that's where it came from.
Absolutely.
First news, pushing the chips on the center of the table with 4:04 to play, trailing 17-13. Vandergrift drops, blitz coming. He's throwing it up the far sideline, run up the field, then he just fell down. He's going to give the team a blow, but Kentucky has it inside the red zone now.
So, and the fact that the catch was amazing, the announcer said, a well-timed push-off. He gave just enough separation right before he caught it. And to stay in bounds, I thought they were going to rule him down of bounds where he caught it, but he stayed in bounds and pivoted. And
he added, I thought I thought he could have gone for 6. He might have run out of gas, or if he just ran a straight line. But honestly, it worked out better because it killed some clock. But I mean, that's just a play that's going to go down, and absolutely the game's over, more than over.
Yeah.
you're sitting there, and Mark Stoops goes from the most conservative idiot to the dumbest fourth down decision maker. Yeah, it's just he would have gotten killed all over again. So just I'm at a loss of words. I was in the moment and still am. Just one of the gutsiest calls you'll ever see in a football game, and a guy who's been labeled too conservative, and honestly probably has been, is the one on the shot. And credit to Brock Vandegrift, Barryon Brown, and Bush Hamden for dialing that up. They saw they liked their chances in man coverage, and they went out and made a play. And the offensive line too, credit them. I mean, they cleaned that pocket up enough for there to be enough time to make it happen.
Yeah. So it's just, I was with you. I thought if he just keeps on at that angle, but I don't know, he saw people coming from behind. There was guys in the front, so he just cut it in and went down. And it killed more time, like you said. You had the Caddis fumble after he had a couple passes dropped. And going back to Stoops going for it on fourth down, I think I was just kind of numb. I was just kind of like, okay,
here it comes.
I mean, and you try not to think, same old Kentucky and old history and all the old stuff happening.
Carson Beck just threw a kick, by the way.
Oh, my goodness gracious. I mean, this is – we waited all night for not much of anything right now.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, we were all glancing at it, as is everybody in SEC country and nationwide. But I was just kind of numb, like, well, I don't know if I was bracing for them not to convert, which I'm sure I guess we all were, because you're going to give them the ball at your own 20, and that's going to be it. So, yeah, to execute that, man, to give them time to take a shot, and then in the post game, I figured they'd be aggressive. We get a one-on-one. You got it, and they won it. So,
if they had got a one-on-one against Georgia, would they have gone for it? Like, nah. Just crazy turn of events, complete 180 from where they were 3 weeks ago and even 2 weeks ago. I mean, and now, you're looking at Georgia and you're like, man, we really should have got them the way they're playing tonight. But just a crazy play call. I mean, that was the most Kentucky football way too, for it to come down to you fumble it into the end zone and thank God you fall on it. And then you got some luck, man. I mean, the kick was awful. I mean, not even close on that 48-yarder. And that's where you got to be thankful for Alex Rayner again. I mean, 2 clutch kicks for him. I mean, I'm pretty sure they were both maybe the second one was short. What was the second one? Oh, 20. Okay, so he had a chippy, and then he had a big 48-yarder, right after halftime, after Kentucky's defense gave up the field goal on the first drive of the half, right? They gave up a field goal, I believe. Yes, they gave up a field goal on Ole Miss's first drive, and then Rayner bounced back with a game time go-ahead field goal at that time. So just some of the breaks that have gone the other team's ways so many times in these games, unless they're playing like Louisville or Florida the last couple of years, finally went Kentucky's way. And
so when Kentucky goes up
21 zip
20, when Kentucky goes up 20-17, I'm like, I had some of my Tennessee friends text me, oh, I see y'all, okay, that kind of stuff. I'm like, this is a Mark Stoops, Brad White utopia. They had their defense on the field with a chance to close the game out. They want it. They don't want it any other way except that. And so you have a chance to get off the field. You give up the fourth down. They convert with the tough catch. And then, J.J. Weaver played outstanding too. Need to give him his credit. But then Deion Walker's outside on the fumble, and you're like, oh my God, there's the break that they get, that's going to give them another second chance. And here we go. And they overcame that as well. So, and look, Deion played.
Oh,
He made that one mistake trying to make a play.
yeah, JJ was great. So was Ox. Like I said, Ox, 2 sacks. I mean, that's pretty damn good. And just and you know who played his best game as a Cat so far? It was Jamin Dewis-Johnson. I mean, he was a record today. I know he only had a half sack that he shared with Deion, tackle and half for loss, but he was flying around. You could tell he was kind of the captain of that ship today. He was calling out a lot of things before it happened, and he's just been such a big ad, not just for the culture, but just the whole, just bringing the IQ. Not to say this defense has been very good for a long time, but I feel like the IQ of this defense just took another step with that guy in the middle of it. So just so many guys chipped in. You can't do what they did today without another one. We haven't even mentioned the guy that I thought was the best player on the field to wear a Kentucky uniform today, not named Deion Walker, and that was Dane Key. I mean, every time you threw him the ball, it felt like either it was a catch for a big play or it was a pass interference because they could not guard him. That's 2 games in a row over 100 yards. And, you're talking about a guy, again, who put on so much weight to get that strength that he had been missing. Those plays over the middle that we saw a ton of in this game, those are balls that may go off his fingertips, or maybe a DB knocks it out of his hands last year or the year before that. And the strength he added is helping him finish plays. And another guy where he played well, the first 3 games of the season, but there weren't many opportunities with the way that they were pass blocking and with the way that, the first game ended short and all that. I mean, he had 60 yards in the first game, which is pretty good. He did almost nothing against South Carolina or in Georgia just because he didn't have many opportunities to, because they couldn't protect. And he was outstanding against Ohio, and then he proved it wasn't just because they were playing crappy DBs from Ohio. They were playing some pretty good DBs, and he was dominant. I thought he was Kentucky's second best player today behind Deion Walker.
Yeah, and there was the one where he went right across the corner's face and got inside of him, and just at 185, does he do that? But at 215, he's able to.
Absolutely. That's the difference right there. And even the touchdown, he luckily went 4 steps because the ball did come out when he got to the ground. But 4 steps is enough at that point. But that's a play that wasn't an easy grab. He wasn't the first read. I mean, that's a mature play, a strength play. So he's becoming. He was already a huge win recruiting wise. His career at UK has been outstanding, but he's starting to take off to another level to where you may have to start enjoying these last 7-8 games, whatever it is now, because he might be playing on Sundays next year the way he's going.
For sure. Josh Knight in here in the comments. Appreciate you. O-line has been better than the South Carolina game for sure. I didn't know where the season would go after that. And no, neither did we. It's like these are why it's worth being a Kentucky fan. Yeah, hey man.
It's a roller coaster, Kentucky football. And Kentucky basketball lately has been a roller coaster too, but Kentucky football is such a roller coaster. And trust me, we were all thought when they lost to South Carolina 3 weeks ago that, oh my God, they're gonna win 4 or 5 games and the bowl streak is over. And now you're sitting there thinking, damn it, we should have beat Georgia and we'd be 3-1, or damn it, we should have beat South Carolina, would be 4-1, and we'd be in the playoff hunt because we have a 1-point loss to Georgia and a win at Ole Miss on our resume. So that's the type of year, and you're also sitting there looking at these next 3 games like, okay. Like Vanderbilt, I guarantee you Vanderbilt's going to come in and play well. They always come to Lexington and play well. They're a much better team. I guarantee you that game's going to be uncomfortable. But find a way to win that one. You play with Florida, who we know is not very good, and Kentucky's learned how to beat. And then you play Auburn, who, God, they look terrible, and they lost again today at home.
They gave it up. They just
pick 6. They suck. So
and Oklahoma's not great.
You got to prove you can win those games at home. Like they went away and won this game, so you got to prove they can do these type of things at home. But you're in a situation where the schedule now, you feel with the way you played today, with the way you played at Georgia, and you backed it up 2 weeks later with a top 7 win.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to win those next 3 games, and that would put you at what, 6-2 going into Knoxville. So
and the bye comes at a good time to where
Yeah,
You
I
get
agree.
they say 24 hours squash it, but now you're still not fully yourself going into Vanderbilt. You get up by the
Vanderbilt's going to play this Alabama team next week too.
yeah, and a lot of people want to knock Vanderbilt, which they beat Virginia Tech, and I mean Virginia Tech's not what everybody thought, and they had a tough break last night. Virginia Tech did, but people were kind of poo-pooing and laughing at Vanderbilt for losing to Tennessee's Georgia State. But Georgia State came to Knoxville a few years ago and beat Tennessee. I mean, they're not Appalachian State level as far as reputation, but there's some players on there, and they can jump up and bite some people. So I didn't take that Georgia State loss as much of it wasn't as much of a knock to me for Vandy as others, because I mean, we've seen Georgia State do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't good, but it wasn't the end of the world because of how they bounced back to play Missouri. So
exactly, and so we laughed in the summertime. Kentucky cushioned the bye weeks as smooth as possible with Vandy and Murray State. Now Vandy does. You can mark it down there. You already said it. You know how they're going to come in.
Their largest win. Well, they lost the last time Vandy came, but the game they're always close. Their last 2 possession win at home against Vandy was 2014, so it was before they even got good. 2016 was a 1-score win. 2018 was that weird 14-7 game where the offense, I think Terry Wilson threw for 18 yards, and then 2020 the score was a little flimsy. I mean, they were up by 3 scores, and then Vandy scored like 2 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes to get it to 3. I think they recovered an onside kick the COVID year, but still, that was a 3-point win. So Vandy plays very, very, very well in Lexington, and they are, like you said, they're a different team this year. They have a real quarterback. That anytime you have a real quarterback, you have a chance.
And we've been rolling our eyes and chuckling at Clark Lee, but you give him credit. He's grinding down there.
Bringing in Jerry Kill was the best move he's made,
and that dude's a lifer, man. He's like he's like nearly. I mean, so health problems and overcome so much.
Yeah.
He's still in the game, man. Just back in his days at Minnesota, you had to. I mean, that dude's just
he's a winner, and he's been doing it forever. He brought his quarterback with him, up to Nashville and Diego Pavea. So, yeah, that game is I guarantee you, fans are gonna be like, "Oh, what the hell's wrong with this team?" We just went and beat Ole Miss on the road and played Georgia so well, and now we just beat Vandy by 2. But that's just how it is when Vandy comes north to Lex. It just is what it is. But I agree. I think the bye still comes at a good time. Hopefully, you can get Max Harrison back. He likes playing against Vandy. But I mean, there is a part of you. It's like, damn, I want to see these boys next week. But at the same time, it comes at a good week. And again, Vandy has their bye right now, and they got to go play this Bama team in Vandy. But they got to go play this Bama team that looks pretty good, and they could probably beat you up a little bit and discourage you.
And it's going to look like Tuscaloosa anyway. I mean, they're going to take it.
Oh, yeah, that's just how it goes. Which stinks for Vandy because they're actually kind of earning fans this year. But
they're respectable this year. And
they, credit to their fans. They actually, I mean, Virginia Tech fans probably still outnumbered them that week 1 game, but Vandy's fans made it a home environment, at least, late in that game from what I could tell. So,
and there was a couple, for the basketball game last year in Rupp Arena. Yeah. And there, I saw a couple in line in the concessions. Like, oh my God!
Oh yeah! Oh no, they have fans. It's just
they do exist.
They're in a tourist attraction city too now. So I mean, Nashville is one of the biggest hot spots in America right now. So it's a trip that every fan base loves, especially ones like Bama who don't go there every year or every other year rather. Like now they'll go there more often, I guess. But I think the last time Bama went to Vandy was that one where Vandy won a game, and there was that clip of the Vandy guys said, "Bama, you're next."
Yeah,
that Jalen Hurts, and they beat them like 56-3 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep, got what you wish for. So
you got them.
That's it. And Georgia's getting them now. So
yeah, this is a wild start to that one.
Unbelievable. Well, man, this is a a fun episode. Cool to do a recap for a nice.
I think it's our first positive one. I mean, Mark Pope was kind of like a
shocking.
Could be positive or it wasn't. It was just what's the objective? It was news. Yes,
breaking news. Yeah,
this is the first time it's something positive. We've had a loss in football to Vandy, a loss to South Carolina in football, probably some basketball losses I'm forgetting, but nice to have a positive moment here.
Absolutely, man. So always appreciate your coverage. Everybody follow Aaron, eGershon99, the Cat's Paws, catspose.com. Y'all already know the basketball yearbook is printed. Hitting the print.
I think I saw there about next week, permitting weather. I'm sure weather issue permitting. I don't know what's going on. I hope everyone's doing better back home. We still don't have power in our apartment. Luckily, I'm in a hotel. My fiance is staying at her parents' house, so we're not directly dealing with it. But I hope everyone's doing okay back home because
absolutely, it's been to be so far away from where it comes in. The eye hits the storm. Florida, Savannah, Georgia, all that. Our niece was down there. We just went and saw her, and they had the new baby. We were just down there a couple weeks ago, and we've been texting them to make sure they're all right. And so far, they are. Power was out here yesterday. Told you before we were recording. Went and helped some friends cut down some trees and get trees out of their yard that were down and hit part of the house. And got a couple friends now taking a shower. We talked about taking a shower last episode, and now we're talking about taking showers again. Got people using the shower here, some friends of ours that don't have power. So it's, even worse further south, but it's affected everybody up here where we are as well. So I hope everybody is okay and is able to get back to normal as soon as possible for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But man, enjoy your evening and be safe heading back. Might hit some weather, maybe going.
Who knows?
Be careful, man. But fun episode, like we said, and enjoy your time off next week, man. Enjoy the bye week yourself, and
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so we'll be back. I'll get somebody on or do something real quick. We'll figure that out as we go. But I always appreciate you, and we'll holler at everybody next week. Been a fun Ole Miss W episode. As you notice the title, we put the title up. It'll be, I think I put sipping on this Ole
I like it.
W. So enjoy that, and we'll be back with more content. Believe Podcast Network as always. For Aaron Gershon, this is Vinny Hardy. We'll be back next week. Enjoy the bye week, and everybody be safe, and we'll holler at y'all next time on Believe in Kentucky.